Hopefully, you will find that I have posted enough to help you with this part of the paper, but I thought that putting it into a presentation would help to keep everyone on the same page. These steps will be very important to follow. I will post this video so you can go back and watch it to help you if you need it. Some of these pieces are not required until you get to the final submission, but I hope that you have been incorporating them as you can from draft to draft. There are no new parts of the paper added from the second draft to the final submission. Please follow the template for the instructions on what belongs on the title page. The font, spacing, and margins remain the same from one submission to the next, so this should be straightforward. Be sure you use the instructions for the different types of heading between sections and subsections. Be mindful that you are consistent. When you go to submit the final copy, it is important that you look at everything one more time to ensure all changes you are asked to make have been addressed. If you have an appendix, it does not count toward the final page count. However, this is an acceptable place for your raw data if you wish to include it. Be sure all references are APA style and any comments on them have been addressed. When inserting tables and figures, make sure you make a reference to them in the text, the caption. For example, saying see table 1, etc. You need a caption below them as well as shown, although be sure your style matches the instructions of the assignment. This table is copied from the final submission instructions, and this is probably the most difficult part of the final submission, but it gives you a realistic expectation from what submitting to a journal is like. You will need to take all of the comments I made on your second draft that I attached in a document to your submission and create a table that looks like this one. My comment should be on the left, and your response should be on the right. You need to explain how you address the comment and reference where this change can be found in the paper. It should look very similar to the table above when finished, although it needs to address all comments made. The number of comments will vary from submission to submission based on what needs to be addressed, so addressing all comments made on the earlier submissions will keep this part of the assignment to a minimum. This needs to be a completely separate document to your paper and submitted at the same time as the final copy. At the end of the response document, you need to write a paragraph about your future and the future of this paper. Do you plan to submit the paper to be published? If so, where? Do you plan to include it in your dissertation? Will you be able to apply what you learned in this class into future endeavors? What was the most useful thing you learned? It is my hope that you submit it to the CEDSI conference that will be here in Jacksonville next year. And I also find a way to make this work as a part of your dissertation. But no matter what you decide, knowing what you plan to do with it will help me with my planning. An additional requirement for the final submission is that you submit it to Turnitin. They will check your paper for plagiarism, but as a potential publishable work, it is important it is added to their database to prevent you from being plagiarized from in the future. You will need to get an 80% originality report to receive credit for this assignment. The 20% allows for the reference list and any quotes that might have been used. 20% is usually considered incidental and not counted as plagiarism. Assuming you have been writing your work yourself all semester, this shouldn't be a problem, but it is important that you allot enough time to submit it and allow it to generate the report because it often takes several hours to process. In other words, don't wait until the last minute. Although, also, because of the nature of Turnitin, you will only be able to submit it once. So if you are concerned about your paper containing plagiarism, please address it before you submit it because you will not be able to check it again. Hopefully, these instructions help you with your final submission and at the end of the semester goes smoothly for you.